of Silent Hill 2, which is why I had that footage at the beginning. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario. Thank you for coming to the video, and I just wanted to take a few moments to talk about one of my favorite games, which is Silent Hill 2. It came out last generation on the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox, and I believe the PC. I'm pretty sure it came out on the PC, but it's a bit harder to find. Anyways, this was my first game where I delved into the survival horror genre, and to me it holds more of a place to me and resonates with me more than any other survival horror series or title out there. While there maybe the first Silent Hill I liked more, I just like the atmosphere more on that. It triumphs over Resident Evil, any other games like that, and I just absolutely love it for so many reasons. Now, I'm just going to say there might be some spoilers on here. I'm not going to be showing any gameplay footage. It's just going to be my thoughts, my commentary on it, but if that's what you're looking for, go ahead and leave the video. Anyways, if you want to stick around, thank you. But what I want to talk about with this game was just everything: the environment, the story, the characters, development, everything, the replayability of this game. Everything was great on it. To me, it showed a higher level of programming, a higher level of putting a game together and putting emotion into an actual game. That games 10 years later, even now in 2013, still can't replicate. This game came out in 2001, and if you go back and play it does play a bit like a clunky 2001 game, but it's perfect. It's great the way it is. And a lot of people I've talked to, they really don't like the Silent Hill series. They thought this title was boring. They thought, it's just gross. But to me, I can somehow find a beauty in it. I can somehow find something that I can really appreciate with this title, which is what I want to share with everyone. This game, first off, the first time I ever played it, I was 8 years old, I believe, and I played it on the original Xbox where I was playing the Restless Dreams director's cut of it. And I remember, excuse me, I didn't even get maybe 30 minutes into the game, but it really scared me. It did. But at the same time, there was just something magical about it, something that made me want to continue. And at that time, I was still a novice with gaming, but I wanted to get into it. I learned how to play it from other people, and I got into this. I went back and I played the first Silent Hill. I love that. And recently, this past summer, so summer of 2012, I got the HD collection of Silent Hill, and I ended up playing it on 360. I played Silent Hill 2 and played it from start to finish. I think I beat it in 2 or 3 days, but it is an incredible journey, and it is excellent. I absolutely love every moment of it. The moment from when you get out of the car where you don't know what's going on, all the way up until the end. And there's multiple endings you can get as well, which was something that it wasn't new, but it was a nice gameplay mechanic. It was also one of those games that, because of that, it was a kind of a short game. You could beat it in just a few hours. If you speedrun it, I'm sure you could beat it in 2 hours or so. So it was one of those games that had a lot of replayability, and it was just a great title to have on hand. And for anybody wanting to delve into survival horror, or anybody who enjoys the survival horror series and elements that the games present, this is it. And it really represents and shows things that, the newer Resident Evil titles can't replicate. Unfortunately, the newer Silent Hill games can't replicate. I mean, it's bad when, compared to the new games, I want to play the old ones. It seems like the same thing with any other childhood series. And, not even just survival horror series. I'm talking, like Spyro the Dragon, Crash Bandicoot, any of those games. The new games are not good at all, while as the old games are excellent. They're classics, and this ranks up there as a classic to me. Silent Hill 1 I really enjoyed. Silent Hill 1 and 2, they were both tied for me. Silent Hill 2, the thing is, they really got to take advantage of the Xbox and PlayStation 2 hardware, really got to, push out more audio, more graphics and all that. Better graphics, not more graphics, but the HD collection, what I liked about it, because it got a lot of backfire with Silent Hill 2, and what I really enjoyed about the HD collection is, first off, you get a high resolution. If you are playing the original Xbox version on a 360, there's a chance of your save corrupting, so that goes away. But also, it got me back into the game. The game was cleaner, the game felt easier to play almost. I'm trying to look for the word for it, but it felt more accessible to me, that I could play it like that. There were some issues, like if you've seen, there's fog in Silent Hill, and there's several screenshots where they got rid of some fog, which shows incompleteness in the game. Every time an achievement pops up, the frame rate will drop dramatically. But as a person who had not beat Silent Hill 2 before, I really didn't mind that much, and I went into the game on the HD collection knowing full well that there were issues with it, and I was going to be more than happy to cope with them. In the end, I was surprised, I was shocked. I absolutely loved the story, and I remember there were several moments in the story where I was completely awestruck. I was awestruck, I was speechless. I just put down my controller and my jaw was on the floor. That was it. And the reason why I was bringing up the HD collection is because if you have the HD collection, you can play with either the original voices or the new voices, which have all been re-recorded, redubbed for Silent Hill 2. I played with the new voices, and it brings in a fresh element to the game. It brings out the storyline of the characters more. It brings out new emotion, which is what I really liked about it. At the beginning of the game, if you play the very beginning of it, there's a letter from Mary, which is James's wife, who ended up passing away, but there's a letter that he reads a bit of. At the very end, Mary's voice actress ends up reading it over the credits, and I've heard that it was so emotional for her, and you can hear the emotion, you can hear her voice shaking, you could hear that she was having a hard time, that she was trying to choke back tears as she was saying this, as she was delivering this on screen or in a studio into a mic. You could hear the pain, the suffering, everything, which is something that just now in 2012, I'm starting to hear in games, but this was in 2001. And I'm bringing this up because I've read online that after she read off that monologue, she just broke down into tears. And that's what I miss in games. I really miss having the true emotions in there. I miss having something that can scare you, that can keep you fearful, because now if I play the game, I'm just as scared. As an adult, I'm just as freaked out playing it as I was when I was 8 years old. Yet it still holds that place in my heart with me. I still absolutely love it, and it was one of those games actually I wanted to progress in it, but I was afraid to progress. I was afraid to see what was going to happen next, and the game makes you think too. It really does, which is why I like it. I've really enjoyed it. I know people who love it. I know people who hate it, who hate the Silent Hill series as a whole. But Silent Hill 2, it is definitely one of the greatest games I've ever played, and I just want to make this video because I was thinking about it recently, and I actually made a video right after I beat it, but the quality wasn't the best, so I decided not to upload it. But that's really it. So if you do want to play it, I'd recommend, if you have a good PC, if you can get a hold of a PC copy, definitely play it. If you're playing on consoles, if you have a next-gen system, you might want to play the HD collection, but look into the issues that you might have and see if you're okay with them. If not, play it on PS2 or Xbox where you can play the original ones. I recommend the Xbox version over the PS2 version because you get Restless Dreams, which is a director's cut, which adds a few more hours into the game's storyline and playability with Maria's story, which is pretty interesting. So that's really all I have to say with Silent Hill 2. And actually, that was a lie right there because there's so much more I can say, but I just don't want this video to drag on. But this game is really one of the best games I've ever played, and definitely one of the shining titles that came out last generation, and I'd recommend it to anybody who's interested in it. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario, signing off. Thanks for watching, everyone.